Hey Martina, thank you for joining me for Espresso 4.0. Congratulations on your pregnancy. No coffee for you.
No problem, only water.
Exactly. So this is an espresso, less Espresso 4.0, but at least let's touch upon the 4.0 part of it. And let's dive right into it. Digital twin, right? What's all the fuss about? And what are the main contributions of a digital twin, the benefits?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right now it's clear that the digital twin falls into the category of digitalization and innovation that can bring industry, and specifically in our case, the manufacturing sector, developed faster and more efficiently. So, and there are some reasons or some main pillars why it's like that. So first of all, through the digital twin, you can centralize your data. So we're not only talking about the data from the process itself, from the telemetries, we're talking about several categories of data. So, for example, quality inspection, maintenance logs. Maintenance logs tend to be spread all over Excel sheets. So all these different sources of data can be centralized into the digital twin, which is basically a visual representation of the process. We can also say that there is a transformation between a digital twin that is only visual, so let's say static, into a digital twin that is more dynamic, a digital twin with which the engineers can actually interact. Because one of the benefits of having a digital twin is that you can give a context, you can give a meaning to the data that you visualize. Seeing a value, seeing a data is different than seeing the same value into a context. Okay, what is really happening into the process? Mm-hmm. What is happening before? What is happening afterwards? So the digital twin gives you the capability, the possibility to really understand the process and what that data mean in the full picture. And also another aspect is what I was saying before, the possibility to interact. One of the possible ways to interact with the digital twin is to have a simulation engine where you can actually perform those tests that you would normally do live on the line, so empirically. So you need maybe to stop the line, maybe you lose some yield, some output while you are performing the test. Other capabilities can be alerts for predictive maintenance, for example, or notifications in general, recommendations for optimal set point settings into the line. So the digital twin is actually transitioning or shifting from something purely visual, where you see your data and your process, into something that you can interact with.
And the cultural change from a more experience and even intuition-based operating to a more data-driven organization.
Exactly. So in other words, we try to encapsulate what is normally done by the wisdom of engineers or operators that work for maybe 10, 15 years into the process. We try to encapsulate this knowledge into the coming from the data, from insights from the data.
Okay. Let's look at the other side of the coin. What could be some of the pitfalls and risks with adopting a digital twin?
Mm-hmm. Okay. As in all the projects, not only related to the digital twin or innovation, there are some risks. One of these is, for example, not having a clear output of your project. So make sure when you start something, you have a clear objective. Maybe you start with a limited objective, with a limited target, something that you can measure, especially in terms of ROI. Of course, we know that the ultimate goal is to generate money, right? Is to generate a return. So we need to have a project, we need to have an objective that can be measurable. We have a metrics. The last thing that we want is basically to say, okay, we've done the project, now what? So have a clear output. Also involve all the stakeholders, all the parties that need to be involved. The human factor is also very important. Especially when there must be a shift in the culture, and digitalization is mainly about that. I mean, it's about the technology, but it's also about the people. So make sure you have all your actors, IT, business, management. So make sure you involve all the people. You make them understand the value behind the project. It doesn't have to be something imposed top down, but rather bottom up.
Understood. Yeah, go on.
And of course, the technology. You need to select the technology that fits your ultimate goal, your strategy. Something that, maybe you start with a simple layer and then you can add up to something more advanced. Like, for example, you start with the digital twin, but then you also have a technology that gives you the possibility to integrate ML, integrate AI, or something more advanced,
Understood. It's interesting to me. In fact, right now we're focusing, let's say, specifically in terms of maintenance, we're focusing on maintaining our assets and our machines, right? But once we move to a more digital ecosystem where we're relying on a digital twin as a single source of information and truth, and relying in respect as well to maintenance issues and predictive maintenance, we're going to shifting that focus from the assets to maintaining the actual digital twin more so. So that's also a shift that I envision happening in the industry. An SME comes to you and they want to develop a digital twin. What would be your suggestions on what are the steps that they need to take to get there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, first of all, I would tell them to select either an equipment or a small part of the line that can be problematic. Mm-hmm. So we can take, for example, a blast furnace, or we can take something way smaller like a pump or a compressor that is actually problematic. And also try to select something that is replicable. So once you have a model, once you have a strategy or an approach for that specific asset, you can easily replicate it to another plant or within the same plant. For example, pumps or compressors, there are a lot of them within one plant.
Bearings, motors, stuff like that.
All these things that are kind of a limited scope where you can do a pilot, you can prove the value. You can also start familiarizing with the technology, but at the same time is highly scalable and can be, highly remunerative to do it. So I would say start small, having always in mind the long-term strategy that you want to achieve. So having a vision. The vision really has to come from the management probably, whereas the project can be selected, can be filtered or shortlisted among the business experts, for example, that really know what is happening and what are the bottlenecks of production. And then, give it a try. The learning curve can be different for different companies based on their digital maturity as well. So there is no one model fits all, but definitely if you start with the right project with a measurable outcome, then you are already halfway in the success.
Fair enough. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that input on digital twin. That was very interesting. Good luck with the pregnancy. We hope to have you a little bit more episodes. Espresso episodes before you go.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Ciao.